Dun, 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 dun. Ay caramba. So day one of Ay caramba. Hey, Ay caramba, huh?
This is welcome everyone to our new show. We're trying to do this weekly on
Hey, welcome, Dad.
all our followers, Dad, and our older brother.
Yeah, if he watches it. Huh?
Yeah, he might not even be subscribed yet, so I don't blame him.
So let's get right into it, man. This is the AI thing. You and I both like AI. You've been doing it more than I have, and let's learn. Let's learn some stuff. Talk about the news that we've been going through. That's really interesting.
Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead. I just want to give a little bit of a preface, just kind of why we started the channel. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
What?
He said preface. That's preface.
I want to give a little bit of a pre in the face,
A little preface.
The preface
I'll post it.
for this channel is basically AI is everywhere. It's not going away. And one of the things that we want to do is we want to understand where it's going, where it's headed, and try to stay ahead of the curve. And we're going to be learning about it as we go along. We're going to be recording our journey. And so I hope that it's enjoyable, and I hope that people get a lot out of it.
No, just kidding. Yeah. No, it's gonna be very enjoyable. Listening to each other talk. Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's good because you can keep me honest.
We got a lot of interesting stuff, like talking with animals. If AI gets too powerful, is that the one you want to talk about first? The military battles? No, you wanted to talk about this new
Meta.
AI, right? Meta. Meta. Yeah, Meta.
Hey, Facebook. People call it Meta for reals.
I think it's Meta. No, Meta. Preface Meta.
Preface Meta. That's how you know
Anyway.
Mexican.
Let's get right into it.
Okay.
So 3 days ago, what was the big news here? Big news.
let me-
Let me see if I can share my screen here. Share screen. And I'm going to share. So Meta posted on Twitter, which was fantastic to me. Oh, wait, it's a little too.
Meta on Twitter. Get that.
Yeah. Meta AI said, I'm going to read this out here in the voice of Mark Zuckerberg. Introducing VoiceBox, a new breakthrough. Just kidding, man. Just kidding, Mark.
Yeah, we
A new breakthrough
Yeah.
generative speech system based on flow matching, a new method proposed by Meta AI. It can synthesize speech across 6 languages, perform noise removal, edit content, transfer audio, style, and more. Anyway, it's a really cool new thing.
Yeah, basically what it does is it can create high quality audio clips and edit pre-recorded audio. It can remove unwanted noises, like if there's car horns or dog barks in the middle. It can generate speech in 6 different languages right now, and I'm sure they'll be expanding more. One of the special features, though, and this is something that really caught our attention, is it can take a short audio sample and use it to generate more speech in that same style.
Yeah.
You just have a short sample of an audio like yourself or your voice, and then you type the text, and it'll generate the audio. Can you show an example? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, it's called the zero-shot text-to-speech synthesis. So you don't really need to train it on a voice. You just need a little tiny prompt. And then, so here's the prompt, for example, that they give. It's not open because Facebook isn't opening it, but they are showing some demos.
Of expression to the creative genius.
So a little tiny, very, very little sample of someone's voice.
Of expression to the creative
And then
genius.
you just write out whatever you want it, and that's enough to create a voice output,
And her mother, embracing her again, did all she could to soothe a feeling.
which is pretty rad. So crazy how with very little input, it can imitate not only the quality of the sound, but reproduce the quality of the production of the audio recording. So
Yeah, no, and what's crazy about this, like right now, there's a lot of other technologies that are really good with text-to-speech, like 11 Labs, and you're able to train it with very minimal input, but it's not like this. You still have to do like a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of training data.
ain't nobody got time for that.
But yeah, with
know?
this is just one sample, and it can just copy the style. If it works the way they're showing, it's gonna be incredible.
Yeah. Now, they did say, though, that they weren't going to be releasing it yet. But they said, we recognize this technology brings the potential for misuse and unintended harm. In our paper, we detail how we built a highly effective classifier but that they're not going to be putting it out yet. So it's not available to the public, and they didn't say when they would make it available,
And
unfortunately.
and that's probably a good thing. It's a good thing that they're being cautious about it.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool.
Other things, for sure.
It's cool because we were trying to play around with trying to recreate some voices, right?
Yeah,
For fun.
we tried to. We were trying to play around and see if we could get like a video of Einstein talking, and so we actually found some audio from him online, and we put it into 11 Labs, and it got the essence of the sound and the quality, but it couldn't recreate its accent. It kept
Yeah,
sound like
had like an Indian accent. An Indian accent.
no,
One of
it
them
was
was
really
got a
bizarre. Yeah, and it was like American accent at times, and so it.
You want to show that now, or should we show that later?
We'll show it later. We'll show a little bit later.
Okay.
And we'll even show you how you guys can do that yourself as well if you want to create your own talking
Yeah.
avatar.
On 11 Labs, right? But definitely not on this. Okay.
Yeah, definitely not.
Cool.
This is not open for the public, as it says right here.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool. So it's just getting better and better. That's a big idea.
Yeah.
So that the next thing I wanted to talk about was there was an interesting article that came out. It says Google warnings about using AI for the company. Let me see if I can find that here somewhere. From fullfuturism.com. Check it out. Boom. Share this. Can you see it? So it says Google warns employees about using AI. What the irony while promoting its own AI.
Yeah.
So double standard much. So
but
the basic idea.
Point though, if Google is talking about this and they're one of the leading experts on AI, then people should probably listen.
Yeah. Again, this is a big thing about it. It says right here, Alphabet is particularly concerned about employees feeding confidential data into the chatbots. A reasonable concern, although it is striking to warn employees about their tech that is heavily marketing to customers. This is actually becoming a bigger and bigger issue, especially considering that something like there was a survey that was done, when was it? February 1st, that it said 70% of workers using ChatGPT at work are not telling their boss. Usage among professionals jumps to 43%. That was in February 1st.
Wow.
Yeah, 43%. And I just recently saw another one, like on GitHub. There was a survey on GitHub, came out not too long ago. It said 92% of programmers are using AI tools. And what was the thing that you read? But what are some of the stats about the general use?
Yeah.
That came
I think
out?
it was something like only 14% of Americans, the American public, are actually on ChatGPT, which is, it's a majority of Americans have heard of ChatGPT, but few have tried it themselves. 6 in 10 U.S. adults are familiar with ChatGPT. Can you load the article up? I put it on the Notion.
Majority of Americans. So this is what, May? This is back a month ago almost, May 24th.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. Just 14% of U.S. adults have tried. So that was a month ago. I wonder what it's at now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's gone up. But surprisingly, that's kind of a surprisingly amount. I guess because we're interested in AI, and so we follow all the AI people. And so we feel like everyone knows about this, but
I don't.
well, you don't.
No, I
Excited, but like me and my friends, all we talk about is ChatGPT and what it's doing.
What friends are you talking about? You mean ChatGPT?
ChatGPT and Chef GPT. I have personal trainer GPT, Auto GPT,
Yeah, those
GPT, all those, you know.
Those are all your friends.
Yeah. They're great. They never talk back, you know. Never cause conflict.
Oh, but what about, what was it, the Bard one that you fell in love with you? You had a little romantic
Bing,
stalker for a little bit?
Bing.
Oh, Bing.
Yeah. When back in the day, we'll talk about that another time, maybe.
Yeah. So things are moving fast, but here's what's interesting, right? For around 14% of Americans are using it. Maybe it's a little higher now. It's still a relatively small size, but what we're seeing is, according to these surveys, that professionals are using it. It jumps to 43%. And then for coding and coders, so it makes sense that the privacy issue of workers and professionals using ChatGPT or these other AI tools to help them in work is probably a lot higher, and then the issue about privacy concerns becomes really important. Not only privacy concerns, but also secrets, business secrets, and like the implications of when you're feeding stuff into the chatbots, where is that information going, and what are they doing with that information?
Yeah, and that's one of the things with ChatGPT, and this is something they let you know right when you register. And if you guys if you've seen one of my previous videos where I talk about how to register a ChatGPT account, I let people know to never use sensitive information. You know,
Nice plug there. Nice
you guys
plug.
can watch the other videos. But for example, instead of entering your own names or actual company names or stuff that might be trade secrets, you got to be really careful about that. Maybe change the names around. In terms of secrets, don't put it all. Don't put it in, definitely, because they have complete access and they use that as training data. So they'll be training ChatGPT with the trade secrets that you're giving.
Didn't you say there was something?
Yeah, I was just going to get to that. It reminds me of this Samsung workers. They were leaking trade secrets via ChatGPT. This was back in April, I believe. See if you can get this article up real quick.
Sure.
It's just basically
Here
Samsung
it
workers were using ChatGPT.
Can you see it? Can you see it?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, basically Samsung workers were using ChatGPT and inadvertently were feeding trade secrets to ChatGPT and OpenAI.
What happened?
And I think eventually just Samsung ended up banning use of ChatGPT. And
Interesting.
yeah,
What did they say? Did you figure out what kind of secrets did they?
well, no, OpenAI didn't release that information. But basically,
And how did they find out?
actually, Samsung didn't actually ban it. They just limited the ChatGPT upload capacity to 1,000 bytes per person, and they investigated the people that leaked the data. So
Yeah.
I mean,
That's big money, right?
what all these companies are going to end up doing, they're going to end up getting their own in-house ChatGPT, you know, and a lot of the stuff is open source, so they can use that. A lot of people are just creating their own AI engines. And I've heard,
Do you think
there's a few simple ways that people could just get a version of ChatGPT on their own computer. Maybe
you really think that's the future?
about it.
That's the future of AI? People having localized AI?
Yeah, I mean, for things that are sensitive information, think about it. If doctors start using AI, they don't want to be putting in patients' information on there because it'll be used and go to OpenAI.
But what about a potential world where just we're using the internet now? All of our records are online.
Mm.
We didn't say we're not going to have anything on the World Wide Web, right? Accessible,
Right.
like whether it's bank records, but HIPAA records, like for medical stuff. But we just have stronger regulation that allows us to maybe, because I could imagine that having access to really powerful computers that are owned by these big companies, you can do a lot more powerful things with AI than a small localized LLM on a server, a local business server.
Right.
And what is the future going to look like? Is it going to be just a bunch of little tiny AIs or one big AI, but maybe you have regulation so that it's interesting.
Well, that's interesting. I know right now what they have is they have like cloud that you can rent, like cloud computing that gives you your own private server. So you can leverage like a powerful server that can run these huge LLMs, you know, and keep your information more or less contained. I don't really know how that works. I'm not an expert. I just read about it. It'd be interesting to look into that a little bit more, though.
Okay. Well, yeah, we could dive into that later. Yeah. Another piece of news that kind of segues off of that is about intellectual property concerns. There's an article on ZDNet by David Gewertz. I hope I'm saying it right. It says, who owns the code? If ChatGPT AI helps write your app, does it still belong to you? Let me bring that up real quick. And it's really interesting. It has business implications. So this is a really interesting article. It just came out today. And they interview a couple of people. It's a very complicated thing, like copyright and ownership of intellectual information. The questions such as if there's a ChatGPT output or a piece of code, or like with Midjourney images, who owns it? Not only that, but then what are the copyright? Who can benefit or monetize those things? And it's a highly complex thing because there isn't really there's a lot of decisions that need to be made, but even by jurisdiction, right? Even like America has slightly different rules than Canada and UK, and it's still, there's a lot of things that are still up in the air about who owns the code. And that kind of segues into what we're talking about. A lot of coders are going to be using it. I just saw a thing that the GitHub says that around 80% of the code is going to be AI generated. So who's going to own the code? What the implications about copyright and about ownership? So this is a really interesting. See right here, 90% of programs use AI. And how's that gonna develop? What do you think?
No, it'll be interesting because how how are even people going to know which part of the code was AI generated? Is it all going to be AI generated too? Or I think right now you still need a lot of human input. It's not able to do anything completely on its own. Not that I'm aware of. Maybe it might. I don't know. If someone knows about that a little more, make sure you leave a comment. But if you start having like a mixture of human AI interactions, like can you really grant the copyright to that company? Recently, this was I think a couple of months ago. There was a girl. I'm to see if I can find it.
Okay, while you bring that up, I just want to talk about a few things from this article. So it says right here that, I wrote it down, that OpenAI does not claim ownership of generated content according to their terms of service. So it says, OpenAI hereby assigns to you all its rights, titles, and interest in and to output. But just because, this is where it gets a little above my pay grade, I don't really understand like the intricacies. That's different. Ownership is different from the copyright, right? That's, I think, what you're going to talk about, right? A little bit.
Oh, yeah. I think it was last month, and I found the articles right over here. Yeah, it was back in March. There was an author, Chris Castanova, submitted an AI-created work for copyright. It was a comic book titled Zarya of the Dawn, and it was approved. But later on, the Copyright Office, they put the decision on the review, and they asked for more information about the images, and they found out that the images had been generated with Midjourney. And so then they removed protection of the images because they're saying that only human-made creations are eligible for copyright. And so this is an interesting case. This seems to lead the president that there will be no copyright protection for anything just generated by AI.
That's interesting.
And is that right? I mean, there is still a little bit of human work that goes into it. It's not like, the person still has to pick the images, but I guess the actual creation of it there was no human intervention except for giving a prompt or two.
Yeah, but then you also start thinking about all the problems with copyright. I think that the copyright law, there's a lot of abuse in it that happens in technology, where a lot of times it's just companies buying up as many patents as they can and just to try to control the market. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing that like we're starting to bring up issues about what's the purpose of copyright in the first place. I almost like during the Napster era, I remember when we used to download or Napster and LimeWire, and there was the argument about should copyrights or should people be able to download and share movies and music, and people were doing it anyway. And the fact is that the industry needed to adapt to that because it was refusing to. So maybe it's an important thing that we revisit some of these things, because copyright law may not be as useful in many ways. Maybe that it can't be copyrighted because I could see some problems where people start copywriting and they're like, hey, this looks very similar to that. How do you show what is copyrightable?
Yeah, there's a lot of things about the AI images. First of all, you don't know what some of the images that they found were taken from copyrighted images. Like I remember there's an article, I don't know where it was, where they would ask for like a picture of like a soccer player, with such and such person. And they found the actual image. It's like it's almost exactly the same, just like
image,
different. And it even said like it had the, what do you call it?
Shutterstock.
Yeah, Shutterstock, right? So a lot of these images, they were trained on data that maybe they didn't have full copyright to. And sometimes they generate images that look exactly like the actual copyrighted work. Now, this is dangerous for users because, the companies like Midjourney says, well, we're not responsible for the usage of what people generate, It's their commercial property. So if I take an image that's already been copyrighted, I don't know it, and I think it's AI generated, there's no copyright, and I use it, and then I get sued for copyright infringement, who does that fall on? That falls on me, right?
Yeah. No, it's a really interesting thing because in a way, it almost begins the question for me, a philosophical question about what is creativity and what does it mean to create something? You and I have talked about a lot throughout the years about there's not really new ideas, and that a lot of the masters that are just taking from old masters and just remixing it into their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. It's a very interesting question about what is creativity and who can benefit from it, and how do you copyright and ownership. If everything's a derivative of something else, mm-hmm. How do we ascertain what's the original works that should get, or should we just say that nothing is copyrightable? Or
well, I definitely think there's a benefit to copyright. It protects the creators. encourages creativity, the creative process. I think I kind of know what you're talking about, which is like pretty much there's very few original ideas that are really like it's never been done before. Everything is kind of just a mixture of ideas put together and repackaged. And that's what artists do. And then sometimes they do it enough and then they come up with something that people hadn't seen in that combination. And that's where creativity is as we know it. But I think that's different from what the AI is actually doing. Because the AI is kind of mix mashing everything and then learning the patterns and then recreating things based on the patterns that it learned, right?
Isn't that just what humans do too? Like you look at modern art, like what's the guy that does the tomato cans? The really famous guy. Like a lot of art is just, it's just a recreation of other things. And for example, like litigation that happens is a waste of people's time. There was a big lawsuit. Like when people try to sue each other over if a song is like is ripped off of somebody else, and like it's just such a waste, in my opinion, of energy, because people are just trying to. There's definitely abuse of. There can be abuse in the system for somebody created something and then they claim that they created it, and so then what? People can't use like a certain beat or a certain type of style because it sounds similar. It's an interesting. I don't know where I stand. Part of my rebellious side is that we should let creators create, and I don't know. It's the lawsuits that I have a problem with.
Yeah, I mean, the lawsuits do get a little bit crazy, but at the same time, like if you're a creator and you spend all this energy, effort, and time to make something that came from you, right? And you put it out there, sometimes you might be creating something that's already been done, but you might not be aware of it. But because you put it through your own personal experience, you're able to create something that you're proud of, you know, and people get really emotionally attached to that, especially if it's something they put a lot of work into. And if they put it out there on the internet and someone takes it and then they just copy it and say, oh, look what I did, it's kind of frustrating for that, not respecting that process.
Isn't that what AI is doing though?
That's what copyright is good.
Isn't that what AI is doing, but just faster, right? Like it can just spit out things. It's the same human process of mixing things, like the Midjourney images. Like it's creating incredible images, but it's just able to do it way faster. So that creativity is just maybe sped up because it's really that much different. But yeah, but
well, I mean, that thing is with Midjourney is that it doesn't come from a human, right?
But the question is, should AI generated images be given the right to copyright their creations? I guess
AI you're talking about
the AI or the owners of the AI. Yeah, that's an interesting discussion. Anyway,
well, one of the things. So when I first started playing with Midjourney, I want to wrap it up real quick. But when I started playing with Midjourney, I was like, oh, this is. Or actually, when I started playing with AI art, you know, even before Midjourney, like when Diffusion came out and all that, and it was like. It felt like it was the value of your prompt. If you were really good at creating good prompts, you could create really good, cool stuff. But if your prompts were weak or not so good, then your AI art would look like garbage. And so at that point, it kind of felt like the value of your creation was through the prompt. But now, like Midjourney is so good that you could just tell it, like, you know, do a shoe with black and white, and it'll come up with something that looks incredible. Then the value of that prompt involvement kind of goes down. Really is the AI that is getting really good at creating cool looking stuff.
Yeah, but aren't Midjourney images mostly they're crowdsourced in a way, like because you can see how people create it, the prompts. So the prompts aren't even that special because you could just copy them off. People are posting on the Discord.
Yeah.
So
all the prompts.
How valuable is that really? How valuable is a prompt?
Well, not all of them. I mean, those are just if you have a private server set up, we should probably, I don't know if we should probably not talk too much about Midjourney until we explain what it is. Some people might not know, but anyways, there is some open source element, there is some open element, and then there is ability to have a private server if you have a $60 a month version or something like that. But we can talk a little bit more about Midjourney, what it is and how it works. I think we start going.
The last thing I wanted to talk about from that ZDNet about
by the way,
article.
Andy Warhol.
Yeah, Andy Warhol. Yeah, the guy with the can. Like a lot of these modern artists, they were just kind of a lot of people argue that it's not even art, like just doing like a square in a red color. Like, what's the creation process? What's unique about it?
Yeah.
And so the question is, what is art? Like, you start getting into foundational things like, what is art in the eye of the perceiver, or is it the idea behind it? And as we progress in society and we say it gets harder and harder to be original, what is art except just maybe a mishmash? Or what is creation but just a mishmash of other things? If somebody else already created something in the past that's almost identical to something that you create, maybe from your own mind, or maybe you have a dream but maybe you saw it subconsciously, right? This can happen. But you create something that looks exactly identical. What's the defense of you saying, hey, this is an original work because it came from me and it was through my labor? They're interesting questions. I don't know any answers.
Yeah, who knows? It's interesting because sometimes creativity, like, where does it come from? Sometimes you might be influenced by a certain style without even realizing it. You might be exposed to it a lot without you like making a conscious awareness of it. And maybe you'll just all of a sudden, like you said, you'll have a dream about it and all of a sudden it'll click and like, oh, dude, I just had this idea that I've never seen before. And then you write it, you do it or you write it, and then people are like, dude, that's Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, yeah, dude, I had the best idea.
I like Darth Vader. I'm going to call him. And he uses like this magic thing. I'm going to call it the strength. No. The force. Oh, yeah. It'll be so, you know what I mean?
The power.
The power.
The knockoff version. Yeah. I had a dream.
That happens. I don't know. It happens to people.
I wanted to wrap up that article to point out some things. So in Canada, for example, Canada had recommended 3 approaches to the question of ownership. That one is that either ownership belongs to the person who arranged the work to be created. 2, that ownership and copyright are only applicable to works produced by humans, which is like the position I think that it looks like America is taking. Or that there should be like a new third one where it's an authorless set of rights could be created for AI-generated works. So that was kind of interesting. And that in the UK, so it says here, much like in Canada, there is no English legislation that directly regulates the design, the development, and use of AI systems. However, the UK is among one of the first countries in the world to expressly define who can be the author of computer-generated works. The author of the work is the person who undertook the arrangements necessary to create the work and is the first owner of any copyright in it. So it just shows you how there's a lot to be resolved. What I think would make more sense is to have some type of world, maybe some legislation at the world level, like where countries come together and better define some set of codes to make it easier.
Dude, they should make like a United Countries organization, you know?
Like, dude, we should call it, I don't know, we should call it United Countries, maybe? United Sovereign States.
Yes.
United, no, it's too long.
USS.
UN, what about UN? I like that. It sounds nice.
Yeah.
United Nations.
It'll be interesting to see, though, if the United, jokes aside, it'll be interesting to see. You have the, don't forget, we got soundtrack.
Yeah. We use that a lot.
We need to. People don't get it, might not get it when we're joking around, yeah?
Yeah, because they're so hilarious. They go over people's heads. Yeah, so anyway.
We're too sophisticated.
Some other interesting topics. Second, talking with animals. Can AI be used to decode the language of animals? And can we at some point be able to have a machine that can translate what animals are saying? So there's this article, it was actually a video from the BBC that was published. And you said you've seen it before, something about this?
Yeah. Because the BBC just made a story about it, but there was an article back, I couldn't find out where it was, but there was an article that came out, I think it was around February, talking about how this professor, Yossi Yovel from Tel Aviv University, who was using AI to decode the language of bats. Right? And
look, this is so cute.
Well, actually, we'll put a link to all these stories in the description section so you can see it and see this full video. But it's really interesting. They actually made a video about it.
Look at this, to show the work. Pretty damn cute. Yeah, okay. It's not loading, but
well, I didn't really talk much in depth about it.
I can talk a little more about it. Look at that. Beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. A couple of points about this. That the way that AI requires a lot of data to be able to train it. So I thought that was interesting that to understand the sounds of bats, that they had to record a bunch of information to try to have a lot of data samples so that they can train the AI. One of the interesting things that I got from that video was that bats can argue over food, and that they can distinguish between genders, and they have like signature sounds to refer to unique animals, which
like different names
is
each other.
Is it a surprise? Yeah, like maybe like, that's probably your name, I'm guessing. You kind of look like you could be.
That is, yeah. Whereas you would be like,
that's good.
No, that
was a good one. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you. You guys can all come to my show after.
Okay.
Hey, don't cut.
So,
bro. Come on.
Sorry, guys. It's already 38 minutes.
Professor.
So, yeah, and so this guy, this professors, and they're trying to figure out how to decode and understand the bat language. So really interesting.
Yeah, using neural networks.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Real world,
really cool
uses of AI. I think, and like you said, in the future, we might be able to be talking to our cats or our dogs and understanding each other in a more communicative way.
Yeah, I feel like there's people that can definitely communicate. Maybe not the sentiment like with animals, just through body language. But yeah, it'd be cool to. It's just cool to know like the nuances, right? That they can, and it makes sense if humans can do a lot of these things where we distinguish. It's important to distinguish from one person to the other. Hey, who are you? And everyone turns around. It would make sense that there's different sounds and the way that social animals might react to different sounds.
Well, I mean, you recognize that with dogs, right? And cats, they respond to their own name. They can recognize the sound for their name, even though it's on a different language, human language. I wonder, do you know if any AI is being used with other kinds of decoding animal language? Because this is the only one I've heard about bats.
This is my extent of knowledge at this point. You're asking the wrong guy here. All right.
I need to look into it.
Yeah. Another one from NPR today it says, if AI gets too powerful, it could start making decisions in military battles. It's a 4-minute listen. I was trying to recommend everyone.
Before you switch topics, I just looked it up real quick. We'll come back to it. We'll edit it.
Go. No, there's no
Popular Mechanics. There's an article here on January 27th. Here, I'll put it on.
People are excited about this news.
Yeah. The humans may be shockingly close to decoding the language of animals. So this is at the beginning of the year. I'm sure it's already improved a lot. I'll send you the article.
Popular Mechanics. You want to share it? Humans may be shockingly close. So January 27th. Oh, yeah. Look at that. This guy doesn't look very happy here. So what about it? What was the thing you wanted to talk about here?
Well, I don't know. I just looked it up. So there has been efforts in the past. There have been ongoing efforts to try to communicate with animals through AI. I don't know if this talks exactly about the same thing we're talking about, the bats. Bat cat.
Okay.
Yovel.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of this isn't new, right? It's not like AI was just born yesterday. The neural networks, it's been in the science and computer field for a while too, in terms of the use of these neural networks.
Yeah.
So, I think what's new is just that right now it just exploded with ChatGPT. It's talking about AI.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I want to switch over, if you don't mind, Marco.
Okay.
To the next thing, talking about if AI gets too powerful, it could start making decisions in military battles. Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
So from NPR today, it's a 4-minute interview with Tegmark, professor at MIT. He was one of the guys that signed an open letter to Congress. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
About putting a pause. I think it wasn't Elon Musk one of the guys that signed it too.
Elon Musk is one of the big ones. I think one of a lot of the big AI people.
It's a serious concern. Yeah. So the idea here, what Max Tegmark basically advocates for is that it's important to have a pause, because just like biological weapons, we consider them to be horrible for fighting, that it was important for countries to come together and say, hey, look, we're going to ban biological weapons in war. That the same idea that in war, should we be using fully autonomous AI to decide what's the enemy or how decisions should be made about killings, taking a human life, and that And for that reason, we should really stop and not only create regulation in America, but also have this conversation worldwide before things get out of hand. That's the idea. And one of the things that they talked about in the interview is how Turkish drones were used in fully autonomous mode already. And it's scary to think, whatever this code, what if there's a malfunction? We already know, actually.
Have you had your iPhone suddenly crash on you? This every day, right?
It's not like there's some type of ethical war, right? In a way, all wars are disgusting in the sense of it's just violence, and there's always this whole thing about drones and wars. It's been going on for a while, and the fact that there's always going to be errors and like casualties. But the question is, if we're turning over the keys to AI, and in that situation where maybe AI takes over or something, or like it's scary that humans lose the monopoly of violence. I don't know. And we outsource it. The professor goes on to say that the political will has been lacking, and that the responsibility should always remain with humans to make those decisions. And that right now that the U.S. policy is to ensure that humans are in the room making the decisions. But that's definitely not the case with other countries, right? And so the question is that, like some people would argue, that's actually a weakness. If America has to have a person in the room to make decisions with AI, and some other countries aren't, don't they have an advantage over war? Are we losing the fight? But again, the question is, do we have the political will to make the countries, just like we did with the biological weapons, come together and make some agreements about the use of those weapons before it gets out of hand?
Yeah.
So it's definitely, what do you think? Do you think there should be a pause? Do you think that it's possible, or do you think that the cat's out of the bag kind of with open source?
Yeah, I think there definitely needs to be a lot of dialogue between nations. It needs to be the whole world coming together and recognizing the threat to humanity, just like the threat of nuclear war, or like you said, biological weapons here.
Well, see, here's what I wonder, because politicians and policies a lot of times are reactive. Right. Politicians tend to react to things that are eventually, once things get bad enough. What happened in World War II with the atomic bomb? It was America dropped the bomb, and then they're like, hey, we should probably not use the weapons, right? And so like it happened after the fact. So does something bad have to happen before we actually decide to say, hey, we got to put a stop on this? The same thing with biological weapons, right? We know that in World War II, they were using that orange agent, and I don't know too much about that weapons. Do things have to get bad before there's actual consensus? And maybe that has to happen to scare people into action. Anyway, that's an interesting thing to see how that's going to shape out.
Yeah, hopefully it can happen before action takes place. That's, serious.
There's a really interesting video that I just saw with was it Coogan guy? He's an amazing YouTuber. John Coogan, he just did it 8 days ago about Russia's drone problem has only just begun, talking about that, how America basically has lost the drone. We're far behind because we refuse to sell drones or something, or with other countries. And meanwhile, Iran and Turkey have developed really strong technologies because they haven't had that legislation that curtails it. And so the way it's playing out right now internationally in the war, and the countries that are using this drone technology, and they're already like way ahead of the U.S. And so it's an interesting thing. It's like an arms race at the same time. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of implications, political and also military, with the use of AI and like drones specifically. So anyway, that's a really good video to watch. It helps explain a little bit about how that plays out.
Yeah, I found the link, so we'll share it in the notes.
What else? And yeah, that's the big news for today that I think I want to discuss, that really popped out at me. Did you want to talk about any top stuff that you've seen in the social media? Any top news from social media?
One thing that I thought was kind of cool on the news
decision. Hold on a second. Sorry.
Before we transition, let's back to the news. Paul McCartney. There you go. Come back.
Yeah, straight.
Paul McCartney is using AI to create a final song for the Beatles. I thought that was pretty interesting and pretty cool. Basically, he just revealed to BBC Radio 4 that he's using AI to turn a John Lennon demo into one last song. And to me, that is a really cool use of this technology. When the actual original creators are doing it for something that's would have otherwise been impossible.
Yeah,
I mean, I would love to hear one last John Lennon song for sure.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, thanks for lightening up the mood a little bit here.
Yeah, we're going a little heavier than I thought we would.
I do. It's so tempting to go along those. Ay, caramba. All right.
Salsa AI man.
AI caramba, baby.
Caramba. All right. So on other news, we have Synthesia was recently reached a valuation of $1 billion, making it unicorn status. Basically, Synthesia is a way to generate videos with an AI avatar. You give it a script that's written text, and it turns that into a talking head video or a talking person. It could be done for tutorials, for media content, for videos. And a lot of people are doing it for training videos, which is really, really interesting. There you go.
Yeah, I think training kind of makes sense a little bit. I think they're a little creepy. I've seen a couple like startup companies that are even using them as like the intro, which is, I think it's a little bit weird, but.
Hey, I'm Alex, and here's a quick Synthesia product demo. To begin, choose from a wide variety of fully customizable video templates. Then, select your preferred AI avatar.
I think the voice sounds pretty good.
I think these voices are okay.
Are there any better ones that you've seen?
It's much better, and this is the one that I use for like my on YouTube channel.
Is that what you use when I call you? You like just kidding.
Hello, Richard. How are you?
Oh, that's your voice. Oh shit,
that is me.
Oh,
thinking.
I've seen this lady so much all over. Like I've seen her in a lot of these startups, like on AppSumo, or they sell these. I've seen her a lot, and it's a little bit creepy, but it's cool though. It is cool. It's definitely better than not having a video.
So some people that are using it like really well, like if you check out AI Explains AI on TikTok, 697,000 followers.
That's crazy.
And it's basically an AI avatar from Synthesia talking about AI topics. And I'm sure a lot of it is manually, like there's an actual human editor that's actually creating the content, writing the content, but then they're giving it to the AI to act.
689
themselves on the camera, right?
That's crazy. Yeah, should I play one or what?
Yeah.
Just to kind of.
Let's start an AI search battle. I asked GPT-4 and Bard this question with real-time web search enabled. It took GPT-4 2 minutes to answer, while Bard answered in only 11 seconds. Bard provides pictures and even lists menu options. GPT only lists one restaurant and is unable to complete the full task. The winner is Bard. Which chatbot do you prefer? Let's start.
All right, so the voice, you can tell that it's AI, but it doesn't bug me as much as some other ones. But look, he's getting pretty good traction. It's not bad.
Yeah, and these are actually fairly easy to do. The quality of the content has to be good. You could probably get a good prompt with ChatGPT to make some script.
Oh, what do you have in mind?
So, for example, and this is something that we could show you. Let me see if I can share my screen. Here we go. Window. Let's do what window? How do we entire screen?
We'll make laugh.
Exactly.
What are they big son? Son, where's my son? Son, come on, Opie.
Who's on first?
Who's on first? Here we go. Share. Oh wait, that's not it. Pretend that you're not seeing all this. All right, so we have AI Explain AI, right? Basically, you could just give a ChatGPT a prompt, like for example, like
what are you trying to do? Show us a demo about how we can try to maybe recreate something similar to what the AI Explains AI.
Yeah. So like if you look at its most popular video, there was one on Adobe.
Sandy Stone.
Right.
Adobe has released AI generative color in Illustrator. Simply select your artwork and click Edit, Edit Colors, and Generative or Color. You can choose from samples such as Sandy Stone or Trippy Disco, or you can type your preferred color palette or mood. Look how the AI changes the look and feel in seconds. To take it to the next level, open it on Photoshop and make an extended version. I'm also an avatar generated by AI. Follow for more.
Anyways, he actually spends a lot of time into it. I don't want to spend that much time, so I just want to ask ChatGPT.
How do you know how much time he spends?
there's this pretty good quality that the information, you actually see that he's walking through it, the whole screen. He just has the voice. He turns that into a voice. This is good if you don't want to actually show your voice on camera or whatever. Like, there's many reasons why people want to do it, right?
So you want to show us a little breakthroughs. Show us what you did. Show us your masterpiece.
It's not a masterpiece, but anyways, just
2-minute masterpiece.
I asked ChatGPT to create a video script about Adobe's new AI functionality. Keep it under a minute in length, educational, informative, in the style of Marcus Brownlee, without mentioning his name. Otherwise, it might not. Hi guys, I'm Marcus Brownlee. And then just targeting whoever people are interested in learning about AI.
Okay.
And I only want to give me the voiceover script and get to the point quickly. And not
Got it. And then there it is.
And this was a little bit long, so I was like, okay, it's too long. Cut it down. Eventually, it came out with this thing. Yeah, it came up with this. So I just copied it. And I don't have Synthesia, but I have something that's very similar, which is...
But you ended up using Synthesia, though.
I did not, because they don't have a free trial. I went to Synthesia and I went to create a free AI video, and it wouldn't let me paste the whole script.
Oh, because you have to pay?
Yeah, you have to pay. I don't have a paid account. So I found an alternative, which is called PPO.
PPO.
And then you just go create a project. Really easy to use. You pick a person, right? So I just randomly picked this guy, pasted the text in here. Now I had to clean up the text because it had like a little extra elements. Like
the timestamps?
Timestamps, and then it had like references.
Okay. Sure.
And then I changed the background, make it into a green screen. So it's just so that I can key it out with another app. It's just you have like a really bright green. It doesn't have to be like accurate. And then I picked the voice, and I think the voice that I liked, just told it to give me a male voice in English.
Female voices are okay too. Just for...
Okay, so I think I picked Chase.
We're just trying to mimic.
Yeah, I'm not being sexist or anything. And then you have it just export the video. Now, I've already exported it here. So I downloaded the video. So here's what it came up with.
Drum roll.
Transform your design colors with Adobe's new AI, Generative Recolor. Imagine typing neon lights, and your artwork instantly recolors itself. Explore infinite color combinations, apply them to any design, and supercharge your creativity. Boost your brand graphics, digital illustrations, and marketing asset variations. Even seasonal changes are a text prompt away. Try Autumn for fall vibes. Available for Creative Cloud members, it's the first step of Adobe's AI journey. More to come. Get ready for Adobe Illustrator's AI to level up your creativity.
Okay, so it got us the initial one. Now what I did is I wanted to find the background for it. So I just Googled.
Can you just show us the final result really quick first, and then maybe explain?
Oh, the final...
Yeah, because that's what... So we're trying to figure out if we could recreate some of that, what AI explains AI, to see how feasible it is to have.
To show people.
Yeah.
This is what I came up with after a few minutes.
All right, let's go. Yeah.
Transform your design colors with Adobe's new AI, Generative Recolor. Imagine typing neon lights, and your artwork instantly recolors itself. Explore infinite color combinations, apply them to any design, and supercharge your creativity. Boost your brand graphics, digital illustrations, and marketing asset variations. Even seasonal changes are a text prompt away. Available for Creative Cloud members, it's the first step of Adobe's AI journey. More to come. Get ready for Adobe Illustrator's AI to level up your creativity.
All right, so that's that.
And that's pretty awesome. I think that's going to be my new way of starting this podcast. Look, I love it. Can you introduce me?
Welcome to our new channel. And here we have our host.
Hello, guys. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's good, man. How long did that take you?
I think I spent like 10, 15 minutes on it. It was mostly just trying to get the right prompt. I'll put a link to the actual prompt. And if anyone's interested, I can show them how to do it as well. I don't know.
Play around with it. It was pretty cool. This guy or girl, it's crazy, man. 699,000 followers. I wonder how many people are going to be doing this. Anyway, that's a pretty cool use case. Thanks for sharing. Right. What else? Any other use cases that you've seen? Any cool stuff on the webs?
There's another guy that's on TikTok. He has 35,000 followers right now. But basically, this guy goes on Midjourney.
Day 99 of creating AI people until someone who looks like them responds.
There's a pretty,
Day 90.
Goes on every day. Create.
pretty good looking people.
Yeah, he just creates AI images and starts posting them on there.
What
And
about
this is very-
Azoki folk?
This is very, very easy to do with like Midjourney, which we were talking about earlier, right? But basically, you can ask it to make an image of a person using a prompt like this. Let me try to share it.
All right, so we're going to show very quickly, and I've been wanting to know this for a long time because I think it's freaking awesome. I've seen the Midjourney images. You're going to show us how to log into Discord and how the Discord works a little bit, and how Midjourney works. Not just
Well, so this is Midjourney. I guess we could do like a little thing if you need Discord and you need a Discord account, and that's easy. Just go to discord.com, download the software, and create an account. Just register with it. And then once you download it, you would go to the midjourney.com, I think it is the website, and download, just sign into their server.
Oh, you sign in directly through the website?
That's how you register, right? Here, let me show you how to do it. Let's open it.
Because I think it's so cool. Like, I know that a lot of the people, like friends that are not so techie, that were using like these apps on the phone to do these things. But like Midjourney is so much more powerful, and it's free. Like, you can use it for free.
They do have a free, you can do like 25 images, I think, before it runs out.
That's awesome, man. I think people would benefit so much from that. I think like social media posting, right? Or like people are doing blogs or for a website.
Mm-hmm.
That's freaking awesome. All right. That looks like some nerdy techie stuff.
Yeah, so you go here, midjourney.com, and then you go to join the beta. Beta.
Where was it? Okay, and then it opens up Discord.
Okay, so because I'm already logged in, so
That's okay. We can always do a more in-depth, just quickly, just to get an idea.
But so then
what do you do?
You would just go and you would type.
Where are you going? You can only go to certain rooms because there's tons of rooms I see there.
Oh, yeah, so there's a whole bunch of rooms over here on the left side. When you're starting out, just go to an easy one like newbies.
So you can go to any of those? Those are all rooms?
Yeah, those rooms, yeah. You have to go to the room to enter the command.
What about trial support? Obviously, trial support is not going to work. Micropulse?
This is just for asking questions and stuff. So you just go to the newbies rooms. There's a whole bunch of newcomer rooms. Or you can go to the general ones, which are further down. Right?
Damn, it's so confusing. Okay, got it.
Okay, and then you just go to right here in the chat box. You type /imagine.
Oh, you have to do that. Otherwise, it is just going to write a regular text.
Yeah, it won't go through. This is calling the server.
Gotcha.
And you enter a prompt, right?
Got it.
Like in this case, I have beautiful blonde European woman, model, studio headshot, and then I have a camera, Canon 5D Mark III with 75 millimeter lens, soft lighting. This is just telling it to mimic something that would be shot on that, and then you enter it. Now, depending on how many people there are, it might take a little bit of time.
Now, everybody's seeing this. So if you want to have a private thing, you want to save your prompts and anyone else to see them, you would have to pay for that, right? To get your own private server or something?
Yeah. If you get your own private server, then you can send a command.
So right now, for example, everybody have done. Can you maybe click on one or two just really quickly?
Yeah, like somebody just had this done.
Bro, that looks like a lot like one of the images that you have. Where you have a picture, a photo shoot with you in front of an airplane.
Oh, yeah. I had a photo shoot like that back in the day. Yes. But see, this guy just did it with a photorealistic image of a black man with dreadlocks in a suit walking to a private jet. And because newbies, you don't really want to learn from the newbies, obviously, because there's a lot of typos. But you can see that even if you're a newbie, you can get some images like this, and you can see browse through what everyone else is doing.
Oh no, yours is way cooler.
Okay, but so I'm gonna just do what I had before. So I have already ran this before.
Yeah, why don't you show us?
And then this is what it came up with.
Okay.
The way it actually looks is it looks like this. It gives you 4 choices, and then you can pick the one that you like the most to upscale, which means to make it higher quality, by just clicking U1. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Or if you want more variations of this one, for example, then you could click V1 and it'll get the same kind of look, but just slightly different. Maybe the hair will be down, or maybe the clothes will be different. Just little variations here and there. And so, yeah,
Okay, so you hit U1 and then it gets you a higher quality one. Is that what it is?
U1 just gets you a bigger resolution, bigger size. Because right now,
a bigger one. Got it.
right now, if you were to download that, it would have all 4 people, and this is how big it is.
Got it.
So with this, when you do the U1, you end up with an image that looks more like this. Saying it's the full size. And now this is just what the guy is doing. He's just generating images of beautiful people and posting them on his TikTok. Now you can take it even a step further, and you can open like a website like HeyGen. Can you still see my screen?
Yes. So this is what my brother did. He likes making funny, really useful AI stuff.
Very useful. Very, very, very useful.
So do you want to explain what HeyGen is? What are you going to do?
So HeyGen allows you to take an image or a photo of a person, and with AI, give it a text and have it talk and move. So I'll just show you real quick.
Yeah. So it shows the result of what you did.
Hey there, you big stud. What do you think? Is this impressive? You can try it too.
Basically, you can have it say whatever you want. You know, you just type in the text.
That'd be cool to do some neuro affirmations in the morning. I'd be like, hey, big stud, you could do this.
You can get me if you want.
Oh, no, you can. Oh, shoot, that reminds me. I got to work out. Yeah, that'd be cool. Is it possible to do? Oh man, that would be so creepy. Doing maybe a picture of someone that's deceased, like a loved one or something, or like a grandparent, and animating the voice.
Yeah. I mean, people. I'm sure.
That'd be crazy.
It was an app that was pretty popular a while back that it was doing that with your old photos. You can have them moving around and talking and stuff.
People probably crying.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. It's if for those of you that your dad never told you they loved you, you could put him on a. Could take his picture.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you for that.
And we'd be like,
hug to you. That was Richie.
Like, oh, you got me good, man.
You know, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start making some for like you. I'm proud of you, Richie.
You're like my big bro. Yeah, I mean, there's just like.
So this is. I've seen some that use DID or what's it called?
Yeah, the big one is DID.
How do you? What's the website for that? And it does the same thing.
Yeah, we'll put all the links down at the bottom.
Okay, but why do you use HeyGen instead of
the
DID?
reason I use HeyGen is because I personally like the way that they look a little more.
Can you show us two side-by-side samples or no? Or another time?
Yeah, the big red, right? But I think the quality's not as good. And also, DID has a lot of limitations. They try to be like really ethical, which is great, but it sometimes it just limits your creativity.
It's on Ocean. I think you linked both the HeyGen versus the other one. 11 Labs. Did you use 11 Labs for any of these?
Oh yeah. I used 11 Labs for the actual voice, just because 11 Labs comes up with like amazing stuff.
Okay, so 11 Labs is the voice, and then you put the voice in, and then the image from Midjourney into HeyGen, and then it produced a talking head video of this lady. She came to life. It's pretty wild, pretty rad stuff. Pretty good. Do you want to show us any others?
I can show you the side by side.
Rich, big stud.
So that was the one, that was DID versus.
By the way, I did not make that. Okay, that was my brother.
Hi, Rich, you big stud. I heard
hello.
you're working with Marco9 and generating an awesome video podcast that will be live on.
So you can see the teeth as far as hate.
Rich, you big stud. I heard you're going to be working with Marco9 and generating an awesome video podcast that will be live on YouTube, Instagram, and other sources, huh? I can't wait to see your big, sexy muscles all over the screen.
Whoa.
Makes me kind of hot just thinking about it. Oh, baby.
So creepy, dude.
I haven't say that. The AI has gone crazy.
That's creepy.
Yeah. So what are some good use cases of these, would you say? I think
that was a good use case.
To prank your little bro into making him think there's a hot chick that's after him.
Oh, it's exactly how I feel people should talk to me. Anyway, but it's just cool. I don't know. It's pretty cool. Oh, one of the things okay, last thing here. This was fun. We were thinking about doing quotes with famous people and generate the images with some cool futuristic images, but of like maybe deceased famous people.
Yes.
It still couldn't quite get it to work. The audio didn't work out, but it's pretty rad.
That we tried, yeah. we tried actually grabbing, we talked about this earlier, right? We tried grabbing Einstein, actual recording of Einstein, putting into 11 labs so that it would train the data, and then writing a quote, a famous quote from him, and then trying to see if we could get it.
I mean, what?
And now, get ready to see Einstein reincarnated.
And we had this image generated with Midjourney as well.
Yeah, it's so rad. It looks really cool.
I fear the day that technology will surpass our human interaction. The world will have a generation of idiots.
That was, he came back from the dead just to tell us that we're going to be a bunch of idiots. That's fantastic. That's pretty cool, man.
And unfortunately, we couldn't get the accent right.
Yeah,
but
I think it would be such a cool project, and I'm sure someone's going to do it eventually, or if not, they're doing it already. Having AI avatars, bringing back famous people from the dead, and also being able to respond with chat and the chat bots in the Instagram. We should probably do that at some point. That'd be a really cool project. We create like a social media account of like maybe reincarnated Einstein in the future, and that people can talk to him in his voice or somehow with you training the chat bots on Instagram. That'd be cool. You can ask.
That would be a cool project.
You can ask Instagram Einstein, to meet Einstein, to like, you can ask him questions. It'd be cool if that would be possible. How good?
Yeah, we could look into that. We could do something like that.
Yeah, with ManyChat or one of these chatbots.
Yeah, there's a few chatbots that will automatically reply. I don't know if Instagram is okay with that. I don't know what the policy is. They might shut the account down.
No,
but maybe. I mean, we can look into it.
Let's go.
It's kind of fun, you know. Maybe just create a website where people could just go in and comment and chat with it without having.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as cool. It wouldn't be as cool.
Anyway, so yeah. And another thing I want to show you guys, I think it's getting kind of late. We should probably wrap it up real quick. Just some more use cases of AI, how people are using AI in creative ways. So I ran into this guy, AI creative.
Oh, nice. Hey, can you minimize the screen? Remember, most people are going to be watching. They might be watching on a little iPhone or something. So make it thin.
Thin?
Make it as thin as you can. Yeah, make it as thinner as you can.
That's as thin as
okay, perfect. Yeah.
So this guy is actually a product designer, and he wanted to see if he could use AI for something other than just AI stuff. And so he's been creating products with Midjourney.
Can you click on some of them while you're talking?
Yeah. And just creating some and just really incredible stuff. Just kind of different kinds of products.
Are these real products, or is he creating new products?
No, these are just these are just products. He had a prompt. He said, "Okay, make me a bottle," and he actually talks about some of the.
Are these actual products though? Is my question, or is he creating? Are they imaginary products?
I think they're imaginary products.
Oh, got it.
And so he even actually, you guys, we'll put a link to his newsletter. You guys can sign up and follow him if you want. He even gives you like a prompt of the day. And in this example, this image was generated with Midjourney, and he did it with two other images. He basically combined this image, which was also another Midjourney image, because I guess he liked some of the stuff.
That's pretty cool.
And this image, he liked a little bit of the braids and the textures. And so he came up with this. He used these two images as references.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And then he used
I was wondering what that was.
He used this prompt on Midjourney.
Got it.
And yeah, he was able to get...
Cool.
He was able to get that. We tried it, and this is what I got. Just by copying his prompt.
Did you put the same images as reference?
No, I didn't put any images references. I just skipped that part. I just said the second part of the prompt, I used that, and this is what it came up with.
Oh, cool. Those look like Converse, but modified boot Converse.
Yeah, no, it came up with some really wild stuff. So like, for example, say I liked that, I would use that as an image, and then I would create a whole bunch of other ones, and then come up with
great variations.
Product.
Cool. That's pretty rad.
And so, yeah, I thought this is a really cool, interesting use case in the real world on how people are working with AI.
But are they actually doing? He's just, that's not really necessarily a real use case.
Well,
it's hypothetical. It's a hypothetical use case.
It's a hypothetical use case, but he's doing it just for product design.
Right.
So his whole newsletter is about his new products that he's designing with AI.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks like that would be a nightmare to produce, like manufacturing. That would be so difficult to make on the top.
I think if you're a product designer and you get some concept photos, then you obviously you get knowledge, right? Yeah. I wouldn't be a product designer just because I know how to use Midjourney. I would just create these cool images. But I think for someone like who is skilled and has the experience, they could leverage AI to come up with maybe some new wild ideas that they haven't thought of.
I know that like car design they're already starting to use, I think, AI that was and also architecture. I've seen some architecture, I think, in China or something that they used with the help of AI to create some pretty wild architecture.
Mm.
But yeah, those are some cool fields, definitely. It's crazy.
That's how. And
cool, man, what else? Anything else you want to show us? Just some last things? Just
I think that's pretty much it for now. It's getting kind of long, so
okay, cool. Pretty dope, man.
I had a little mini tutorial, Midjourney simple tutorial.
Wait, bro, I thought you just said you're done.
Yeah, actually, I'm done. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it anymore.
That's good. You joker.
And just the final thing, we're going to end this with just an awesome AI-generated video of Will Smith eating spaghetti. It's an AI-generated video.
The best of.
AI. It's just incredible.
This is the...
Yeah, you got that yummy, yum, that yummy, yum, that yummy, yummy. Yeah, you got that yummy, yum, that yummy, yum, that yummy, yum. Say the word on my way, yeah, babe, yeah.
It's so stupid. The best of.
I thought they explained that it was AI generated because people might not realize that.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Marco. We did it. This is our first thing. I'm sure that as we do future iterations, we're going to get better and better at it, and we're going to keep discovering some awesome use cases of AI in the real world, and we'll start doing some fun stuff like this.
Yeah, and if anyone watches it, Dad, if you have any suggestions or any news stories or any AI things or use cases that you think might be interesting to talk about, just comment. You know where to reach me, Pops. But leave a comment so that it helps the algorithm, Dad. Come on. Our number one fan.
Good. Sounds good. All right, man. That's a wrap. No, just thank you. Until next time. That's it.
Thank you, guys. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Make sure that you wake up in the morning. They're all sleeping right now. Oh, and buddy, have a nice guy. I'm just kidding. I just woke them up. All right, so
I do.
Later,
man. Peace.